This is me, a 19-year-old college-going student living in Bengaluru, the city with a population of around 1.6 crores. And despite having a few good friends and a family that loves me, I have been suffering from loneliness for the past few years. I feel like I'm invisible and there is no one to hear me out. I feel like I'm stuck in a situation with no escape and I'm destined to be lonely. As a result of which I became too introverted and now I struggle to make genuine connections with people. This seems familiar, doesn't it? As I'm not alone, it is a story of countless of Indians, especially Gen Z and millennials, who feel lonely. But the difference is I got out of the situation. Loneliness is an actual problem regardless of your age. But there has clearly been a spike of loneliness in Gen Z as compared to the previous generations. And despite all the other problems that we suffer from, loneliness is one of the major problems in a person's life. I have realized that we ourselves are the ones who make us lonely. It is the choices that we make that leads us to becoming lonely. Humans are social animals, and even thousands of years ago, when humans lived, hunted, and ate together, the gravest punishment was being kicked out of the tribe. That is, denying social connections, which caused unbearable social pain to them. Research conducted by Dr. Naomi Eisenberger and her colleagues revealed that the pain of social exclusion or loneliness activates the same part of your brain as physical pain. That is the anterior cingulate cortex and insula. It showed increase in activity during feelings of social rejection or loneliness. Our response to loneliness should have been finding social connections, but we end up using social media to get attention through comments and likes on our posts. You are being satisfied with this attention rather than forming actual meaningful connections. This is more prevalent in the case of Gen Z, and it worsens the problem of loneliness even more. You don't have enough social relationships, and even when you're surrounded by people, you feel lonely. As a result of loneliness, you tend to form very quick and deep relationship with any person that slightly understands you, and you end up becoming too dependent on them. You then suffer from separation anxiety, as you fear that if you lose the connection with this person, then you would fall back into the dark and painful pit of loneliness. This instills the fear of abandonment in you, due to which you completely stop making new bonds or relationships with people, as you do not want to feel that pain ever again. You fear that people will judge you and no one will understand you. You gaslight yourself into believing that you are fine alone and don't need anyone, as you feel it's better to be alone than go through that painful process again. You start pushing away the people whom you have a well-built relationship with, as you do not want to rely on anyone anymore. This is known as emotional dysregulation, and even after believing that you are fine being alone and pushing everyone away, you still have the feeling of emptiness in you. But the difference is this time you are not able to tell the cause of it, as you have gaslighted yourself into believing that everything is fine as it is. But the reality is different. The cause to this emptiness is none other than loneliness. Is it important to address this issue? It actually is, as according to a study conducted by Dr. Julianne Holt-Lunstead, the harm from being lonely is equivalent to that of smoking 15 cigarettes in a day. In this video, I will break down why do you feel lonely, why is it that there is a rise in loneliness in Gen Z and millennials, and what are the possible solutions that helped me and can also help you to get out of loneliness. To find the solution, we must first understand what loneliness is. Loneliness is not about not having enough people around you, but it is a feeling of being unseen or unheard by the people around you. It's not about the number of people, but it is about the quality of connection you have with them. It can be better defined as the unpleasant experience that occurs when a person's network of social relationships is deficient in some important way, either quantitatively or qualitatively. Here, quantitatively means that you may desire to have a group of friends, but in reality you only have a few. And qualitatively means that you may desire to have a deep and meaningful connection with a person, but in reality you do not have a deep connection with anyone. It is the lack of right amount of social relationship that causes you to feel lonely. This is further solidified by the work of Chetna Duggal. She examined psychological and social aspects of human behavior, including loneliness. She used the analogy of porcupine dilemma, which is the situation where during winter, porcupines need to huddle together for warmth. But when they get too close, they hurt each other with their quills, and if they stay too far from each other, they could die due to cold. They must find a comfortable distance where they can both stay warm and avoid hurting each other. It is very similar to human relationships, as humans need intimacy and connection to avoid loneliness. But getting too close can lead to conflicts, emotional pain, and vulnerability. Without this set balance, people find it difficult to have a social relationship with others, leading to loneliness. There are a lot of people who migrate to different cities or even countries for reasons like studies, job, better opportunities, etc. They end up feeling out of place and suffer from loneliness as they have no social connections in the new place. It is not only the problem of people who migrate, but also the people who stay back, generally the old people. They feel lonely and often slip into depression. Another important factor to consider is the rise of nuclear families. Unlike earlier times where Indians used to live in a joint family, nowadays there is a rise in nuclear family. We do not have the option of relying on our other family members for our problems. And according to psychiatrist Dr. Harish Shetty, loneliness is significantly more in the urban cities. These are a few general causes of loneliness, but now let's focus on Gen Z and millennials. The main culprit that causes loneliness in Gen Z and millennials is social media and apps like Swiggy, Zomato, etc. Excessive dependency on social media is one of the reasons for Gen Z being so lonely. The harms of loneliness are also very grave. As mentioned in the video earlier, a person who is lonely experiences pain in the same part of the brain where he experiences physical pain, and the harm caused to a person due to loneliness is equal to that of smoking 15 cigarettes in a single day. Just imagine how much harm you are causing to yourself without even realizing it. Loneliness has become a massive issue and can also be considered as a public health epidemic. The problem is even more in developed countries like US, UK and Japan. Japan and UK have already identified the growing problem and established a Ministry of Loneliness to help them deal with the problem. But in India, no one even addresses it. There is a lack of knowledge in the public and mental health is still considered to be a stigma, which makes it tougher for people to express their emotions. This is especially true in the case of males, as in the Indian society, males are not allowed to express any kind of emotions, and even if they build up courage and share their problems, the answer they receive is, bro, just chill. I have personally experienced it, and no bro, mental health problems are not solved by just chilling. I will discuss the solutions you can apply later in the video. India is facing a loneliness epidemic which can also be called as nihilism. Nihilism is a philosophical doctrine that suggests that life is without objective meaning, purpose or intrinsic value. Basically, you feel that there is no purpose to life. Nihilism is derived from the Latin word nihil, which means nothing. There are different types of nihilism like existential nihilism, moral nihilism, epistemological nihilism and metaphysical nihilism. But let's focus on existential nihilism and moral nihilism. Existential nihilism asserts that life has no inherent meaning or value. Individuals must create their own meaning in a world that is essentially meaningless. Moral nihilism claims that there are no objective moral truths or values, and the moral judgments are subjective and arbitrary. When a person is lonely, he feels these kinds of emotions where he has a sense of isolation and disconnection from others. As he finds no purpose to life, he puts in no effort to find or maintain social relationships. And it creates a loop where loneliness reinforces nihilistic beliefs and vice versa, and the person keeps falling into a deeper trap of loneliness. This also gives rise to existential or identity crisis amongst the youth. As the world is becoming more tribal, the societies are increasingly fragmenting into smaller, tightly knit groups based on shared identities, beliefs, or interests. A lot of kids struggle to find a place in the society or fit in the society as they do not have a clear identity. So it becomes tougher for them to make social connections as they themselves are unclear about what they feel. Also, due to extreme polarization, people become too picky and end relationships if their friend aligns with a different interest. As a result of not being able to find meaningful social relationships in their real life, Gen Z started going online and tried to get attention on social media. You start to comment under various posts and you satisfy your need of social connections with the dopamine hits that you get from the likes and replies on your comments. Social media provides this temporary attention and a false sense of acceptance, but it does not have any value, and neither can it replace the need for actual connection with people. It cannot solve the problem you are facing. In fact, it worsens the problem as you spend more time online as compared to experiencing stuff in real life. There is unlimited content on social media which acts as entertainment, and as it is easier to just consume this content, you get trapped in it. You now no longer want to go out and put in the effort of forming real and meaningful connections with people, as it requires you to do more work and to step out of your comfort zone. You spend more time on YouTube and Instagram watching live streams, videos and reels, and less time with actual people in real life, which leads to you generating a parasocial relationship with the creator. Parasocial relationship is the one-sided relationship that people develop with celebrities and public figures. You feel that you know everything about the celebrity on a personal level despite never meeting them in real life. This connection that you feel is fake. It is not real and it cannot replace the need of actual connections. You are overstimulating your brain with information that is not needed, and you are trying to fix your loneliness through social media validation. As forming real connections takes a lot of effort, you choose the easy route and crave for digital validation. Apps like Zomato, Swiggy, Blinkit is now being used in your daily life, as a result of which people do not want to leave their homes for anything. As all the facilities are readily available at your doorsteps, you no longer visit the grocery store or supermarket, due to which there is even less human interaction. This again leads to increase in loneliness. loneliness. No matter how many friends you have online, no matter if you speak to them daily for hours on end and play video games and have fun with them, no matter if you spend hours on Discord calls with people around the world, at the end of the day, you will be lonely. This is because the connections you form online is no way similar to meeting someone face to face and having a conversation with them. You must understand that you cannot satisfy your desire for meaningful social relationship with online friends and digital validation. Face to face in real life experiences are vital for a human being. In Japan, this phenomenon is also known as hikikomori. It is the extreme form of loneliness. It is a situation where people do not want to leave their rooms and want to stay in complete isolation. Okay, so let me address the elephant in the room. How did I get out of loneliness? The first step was to accept that I am lonely and to stop thinking that I am fine alone. To solve any problem, you must first accept that there exists a problem and actively work towards solving the problem. Sports played a huge role as I made many friends through it. I used to play cricket and volleyball regularly, which are group games, so I used to make new friends regularly. Lastly, I expressed what I felt to a few of my friends, the ones who would actually understand me. And my elder sister also helped me a lot and gave loads of valuable advice which helped me to solve my problems. So basically what helped me was acknowledging the problem, participating in group sports, and the help of few precious people in my life. Few other solutions except this is, don't say no to plans. Even if you feel skeptical about it, do not cancel the plans with your friends and spend more time offline. You can join communities which you have interest in. For example, if you're interested in art, you can form a community and meet up with people in the park to paint. Lastly, many people find it difficult to express their problems. They do not have anyone to talk to. For them, I would suggest to seek professional help. You must know that getting professional help is not a sign of weakness but a sign of courage. If you know anyone that is suffering from loneliness, reach out from your end and help them out. I know all this sounds hard, but trust me, the payoff is worth it. If you have liked the video, do like, share and subscribe and comment down your opinions. My channel is comparatively very small and support in any kind is very highly appreciated. Click here to watch more of my videos. I will meet you over there. Till then, keep pulling a scene.